Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for August 7th, 2020. The Hill reports, U.S. reaches $1 billion deal for doses of potential Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The Trump administration on Wednesday announced a deal worth approximately $1 billion for the manufacturing of 100 million doses of a potential coronavirus vaccine from Johnson & Johnson that the federal government would then own. The move is the latest in a series of agreements the Trump administration has made with several companies making potential coronavirus vaccines. The goal, through the Operation Warp Speed program, is to make bets on a wide array of vaccine candidates with the hope that at least one and maybe more will end up proving safe and effective through clinical trials. The companies will begin manufacturing the doses even before the results are in to accelerate the process. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine recently began Phase 1 clinical trials, placing it behind some of the more advanced stage potential vaccines, like those from Moderna, Pfizer, and AstraZeneca, which have begun Phase 3 trials. Johnson & Johnson said its goal is to have 1 billion doses made available through 2021 if the vaccine proves to be safe and effective. An article from the New York Post states, Joe Biden shouldn't debate Trump, Clinton's ex-White House spokesman says. Joe Lockhart, the former White House press secretary, penned an op-ed last week urging Joe Biden to skip debating President Trump prior to the November election. Senator Ted Cruz responded to the op-ed with his own Sunday entitled Basement Strategy Part 2. Trump supporters have poked fun at the former vice president for conducting many of his interviews from home. Trump's defenders have also speculated about Biden's overall health, and Biden's refusal to debate could provide more fodder. Trump supporters have also said Democrats and their allies in the mainstream media remember how effective Trump was in getting his message across to voters during live press conferences in 2016, and they do not want to give the president that kind of platform again. Lockhart pointed out that many polls are unfavorable for Trump and, quote, every quantitative signal and historical precedent points to a surefire loss for the president in November. Despite the odds, he pointed out that Biden could still lose, but it would largely have to be a self-inflicted injury. He wrote that Biden should ignore the polls and run like he is 10 points behind. And finally, Fox News reports, Los Angeles to cut off power to properties hosting large gatherings. Los Angeles homeowners who violate the city's coronavirus-related safety measures may find themselves on the receiving end of some unwelcome consequences. During a press conference Wednesday night, Mayor Eric Garcetti authorized the city to shut off power and water to properties, including houses and businesses, that are in violation of gathering regulations as a means to, quote, shut these places down permanently. The mayor noted that local law enforcement officers are having a hard time dealing with gatherings where there are hundreds of people who are, quote, breaking the law. Garcetti said, "We know we can do this," when responding to a question about the measure's legality. Other states are having similar issues as local leaders ask residents to adhere to distancing guidelines. In New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo has authorized local authorities to revoke the business licenses of establishments with environments in violation of these regulations and regularly posts the names of the offending bars and restaurants. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for August 7th, 2020. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.